Hello team, my name is Mahesh. In this video, we are looking into another one service that are provided inside the VPC itself. That is called AWS Transit VPC and the Transit Gateway. So we are looking into the those things in today's video. So in this video, we are creating a multiple subnets, multiple VPCs, and throughout those VPCs, we can create a cluster of those VPCs. We can connect to the centralized transit gateway on the AWS VPC itself. There is option for the transit gateways, and inside the transit we need to create a transit gateways. We need to create the transit gateway attachments. So all those things we can get into in depth in this particular session itself. So we can get a better understanding into those services. So inside this we are creating a two VPCs itself, and throughout the VPCs, like according to the diagram itself, we can able to access the resources inside the another VPC, such as the EC2 instances are running, such as the I can say a load balancer or application running on the another VPC. So in that case, you can able to use that. So in another way, you can also use the peering connections inside the VPC itself. But there are some limitations using that. The AWS peering connection works on the I can say like mesh model inside the networking. There are mesh models, each and every connected resources that are connected with the highly redundant cables, and throughout that it has very less chance for to get down, and it has also low latency in comparison to the transit gateways. But transit gateways are more suitable when you're creating a 5,000 VPCs, 10,000 VPCs. So in that case, the transit VPCs are more useful than the VPC pairing. Okay, so now implement those things. So for now, we need to create a VPC. So first of all, just create a VPC, and inside those VPC, I'm naming as test VPC1. So inside this VPC, I'm creating a CIDR block of range 10.0.0.0 slash 16. So it will give me 64,000 IP addresses around, and just create a VPC. So you can see there's no subnets are created, but yeah, we have created the VPC. Another thing we need to create another VPC called test VPC2, and we are using entirely the different block of CIDR address. So by default it didn't overlap with our another VPCs that are created. So those two VPCs are created. Let's go on inside the subnet itself. Let's go and create subnet. Inside our test VPC1, what we need to do, we need to create a subnet. And for the subnet itself, I'm naming as subnet 1A. So for now, I'm just using the AP South one, which is the availability zone I'm selecting. And for the CIDR range, I'm providing a 10.0.1.0 slash 1.0 slash 24. So it will provide me 256 IP address in this particular CIDR block inside the subnet itself, I mean to say. So, so first subnet is created. Let's create another subnet inside the test VPC2, and this subnet name as a subnet, and 1B. So inside the we are selecting AP South one as availability zone. We are selecting a different availability zone. And for the CIDR value, we again selecting 11.0.1.0, because we don't want to waste the IP addresses. So we are using the like 256 IP address, because this CIDR block, just we are creating one EC2 instance, and we don't need to allocate too many IP addresses inside this particular subnet. So those two subnets are created. Let's go and create a route table now. So I guess the route table is already created by default by the VPC itself. So just go on the routes. This is the 11.0. We have created the two VPCs with the particular subnet itself. This is VPC2 with the 11.0.0 and the 10.0.0. So those two route tables are by default created in my case. Okay, so those two route tables are already by default created by my like VPC itself. So for to 11.0.0, this is a test subnet 2, and this is a test subnet 1. So just save the name. For now, just those two route tables are already created. Just go on the internet gateways, create an internet gateway, name as IGW, internet gateway abbreviation, uh, test VPC 1. So it will attach to the test VPC 1, and we are creating another internet gateway. So we can call this as a test VPC 2. So just create another subnet, and for this we are assigning this particular thing, internet gateway, to the VPC that we have created, test VPC 2. Let's attach. So it has attached to the test VPC 2, and we need to, for the test VPC 1, we need to attach it, attach to test VPC 1. So those two internet gateways are attached. We need to do modifications on the route tables. So just go on the route table, select the public VPC 1, test VPC 1. Just go and edit routes, add route, select the all the IP addresses that are IPv4, internet gateway, and the internet gateway test VPC 1. Save changes. So my test VPC 1 can able to access the internet. So as you can see, we have a two VPCs inside the my account, and for the third party account there is another two VPCs, but we are using those two VPCs for now. So for the test VPC 1, we have added the route for the internet gateway, and the test VPC 2, we need to add it. Go and edit route, select the IP addresses, all the IP addresses on the internet gateway, and test VPC 2. So we have also assigned the route to go to the internet. So this VPC also have access to the internet itself. So this thing is created. So now what we can do, we can just go on the transit gateways. So inside the gateways, we need to create a transit gateway. So we have created the VPCs, we have created the access point, we have created the I can say internet gateways, route tables. So all the subnets are already created. So just go on to create a trans. So for to before that, just go on the EC2 instance and create a EC2 instance on both subnets. So just go on the running services, launch an EC2 instance. This is the test VPC EC2 instance. So -1. So this is the naming convention that I will provide. So to code micro, I need to create a key pair, and the key pair is I'm providing the same name, RSA key. Just create a key. Yeah, the key is created. Just edit the network setting, and I need to select it the VPC 1, the default subnet, the public subnet which we allow. We need to allow the assign the public IP address, and we just use the default security group. We don't need to change anything. Just click on launch instance. So the first EC2 instance has been launched. And another thing, we need to launch another another EC2 instance called number 2. And for the key pair, we are creating another key pair for to number 2. Just create a service, and select the default security group, edit the subnet test VPC2. Subnet is correctly selected. Enable the auto assign public IP, and the default group we need to select it again. Just all those things are correct. We don't need to change anything as such. Just click on launch instance. So those two instances are in the launching stage. It will automatically launch. Um, yeah, those two EC2 instances are running. So what you need to do now, you just go and connect to the EC2 instance and install the SSH service on them. So just go on the first EC2 instance. After that, the second EC2 instance. So we can when we create the transit gateway, to check out the transit gateway, we can see to after accessing those websites, or to after we are doing the curl, we should able to access these services. So we haven't allowed the SSH traffic. So just wait and create inside the security group section itself. Security groups inside the let me check whichever the security group that are assigned to these machines. So for to go on security, and inside this, what we need to do, we need to go on this security group. So we need to allow the SSH traffic on this. Edit, add rule, SSH. from anywhere IPv4 and save rules. So we have added the rules. So it should able to access. Yeah, it able to access now. And for this EC2 instance, hopefully it should able to access it. Okay, there are another EC2, another default security group that I created. There are two default IPs then. So you just need to add inbound entry for the SSH anywhere from IPv4 and save rules. So we have save those two rules as we have did. So just refresh this and we should able to access this service. So yeah, to be able to access it, just do yum install httpd. So after installing the httpd package, it should be also like providing the default web page. System status httpd. You need to enable and start the service. And let's look the status. The service is active and running. You should need to do the same over here. Yum install httpd. It will install the httpd package and you need to create a HTML template. HTML template. Okay, so we can just copy paste this thing and we can use this thing inside the var www.html. So let me remove all those things from there var www.html star. So it will remove and vim vim etc var no sorry var www html and index.html. So inside this we paste those contents and what we can say. Um, okay, so for the paragraph we know we don't need to um, this is server. So we can identify those things inside the when we access the resource, access the when we do the curl. So for that, I just pasting this. So we should identify this request is coming from this particular EC2 instance. So just let me save this. Let me restart the service. HTTPD. Okay, let me look out the status. The service is running and active and running. So let me go on the public IP address. Just copy new tab. Okay, this is 102 colon 80. We should able to access it. 80. Okay, we haven't allowed the SSH traffic on this particular EC2 instance. So you need to do that also. Just go on the security group, go on the default security group that you have attached, edit the inbound rule, add the rule, HTTP anywhere from IPv4 and save rules. So you should able to access it now. So the HTTP port is 80 and you can see this is the this request is coming from this particular EC2 instance and once you do the curl you can get the same output as I have got. So just go on the instance itself, go on the secondary instance and allow the SSH traffic on that particular EC2 instance as well. So inside this particular security group I'm into HTTP anywhere from IPv4 save rules. So we should able to access and we need to do the same over here as well. So okay, the service is enabled at the both the EC2 instances, EC2 instance 1 and the 2, which are running in the separate subnets. So let's now go on to the transit gateways. So when you go on the transit gateways, just create a transit gateway, type as a transit gateway test VPC 1. So just put the same description as you like, and you don't need to provide the anonymous system number ASN number to identify the resources and or it will the AWS will automatically provide the ASN number if you don't provide by default. You don't need to provide the shader value as well. You just go and create the transit gateway. It is currently on the pending stage. So just what you can do just while it is being active. So just go on the transit gateway attachments. So when the transit gateways are get enabled, so you have created the VPCs and all those things you have created. But to connect those VPCs to the transit gateways, you need to create the connection between the transit gateway and the VPCs itself. So for that, we what you can do, you can attach those easy to install attach those VPCs inside this particular transit gateway attachments, and after that you should able to communicate with this transit gateways itself. So this is the transit gateway ID, and this is how you can see the transit gateways. So just go on the transit gateway attachment, create an attachment. This is the test VPC one. I'm attaching the default transit gateway ID. So suppose you are using the on-premises servers, and if you are using the on-premises servers as well as you are using the another VPCs, you are need to kind of set up the VPN connection and all. So in that case, you are using the VPN or peering connection or connect. So in this case, we are using the VPC service. So we are by default selecting the VPC. So I'm creating the selecting this particular test VPC one for this particular transit gateway attachment. And if you have multiple subnets, so you can see the multiple subnets over here, and you can select the specified subnets that should be able to access. So this is the transit gateway attachment that you have created. Just create another transit gateway attachment, TG attachment. This is the transit gateway ID, VPC connection, and the test VPC2. This is the default subnet that are available. Just create a transit gateways. So we have created the two transit gateways. It will so you have created the two transit gateways, and you have attached to the transit gateway inside the transit gateway. But what you need to do now, you just go on the VPC itself, and you should need to be route the traffic from the VPC one to VPC two manually by using the transit gateways. So how you can do that? Just make sure you be uh, be careful and pay attention to this particular thing. So our both the transit gateway attachments are successfully running. So what you need to do now, just go on the route tables. So this is my test VPC route table. So inside the route section, you need to edit the route. Just select the route anywhere from the IPv4, and for not the IPv4, you just need to don't need to make this mistake. You just need to select the another VPC. I can say uh, CIDR block of the another VPC. So suppose this is my test VPC2. I should need to be privately connect from the test VPC1 to test VPC2. I should need to use this particular CIDR value. So I just need to provide this particular CIDR block, transit gateways, and I need to select the TG transit gateway that I have created. So it will automatically populate over here. So I have attached the transit gateway, and with this, we also need to also need to add the VPC. Suppose we need to also made a connection from the VPC2 to VPC1 privately by using the private IPs, and to basically you are using the hub spoke model. So in the hub spoke model, you have a centralized cluster, and throughout the centralized cluster, you can manage the things. So inside the centralized cluster, all the VPCs, all the multiple VPCs, it is a kind of a centralized structure. So all those VPCs are connected to that particular hub model. So so this is the CIDR block. So just go on the VPC2, and inside the VPC2, you need to set up the route. You need to allow that particular VPC. You just need to provide the route, and for the transit gateway, you are selecting the VPC2. So just save the changes. Hopefully, you should fingers crossed you can able to access the service now. So if you can see, this is a private IP address of my EC2 instance that is running on another subnet itself, totally on the another subnet, another VPC itself. So if I do curl right now, so I should able to access this particular website. So if you do curl, and you should uh, let me do a curl from the VPC1 to VPC2. Just I need to copy the private IP address and do curl and paste the IP address and port number 80. So if you can see, this is the request coming from the instance too. Suppose I just suppose I have disabled the transit gateway, so I should not able to access this particular. I should not able to access this thing from the another VPC itself. So if I do the same over here, I just need to access the private. I just need to use this thing, the private IP address, and I just need to do a curl from this another VPC and another EC2 instance itself. I should able to do that. You can see this is request is coming from the VPC to uh, v, it's test VPC instance number one. So this is the request coming from the instance one, and as you can see, those are instances are running in the separate VPCs. So one is running on the availability zone 1A, one is running on availability zone B, and it has entirely different block of CIDR values. So by using those services, you can leverage the like you can centralize the VPC structure on your organization itself, and it will be quite like easy to manage those services, such as you have a multiple VPCs. You should need to provide the particular access to particular instances. You just need to create a route for to allow specific to for from the specific CI from the specific VPC. You should only need to be access the specific resources inside the another VPC, such as basically for the peering connection. You can also do that. So if you might have a question, so why we don't use the peering connection in this case? So the peering connection, let me show in the diagram itself. Peering connection, AWS images. So, so inside the peering connection, if you can see with the peering connection, peering connection, you should only able to connect those two EC2 those two VPCs itself. Suppose you should need to be you need to be connect from the VPC one to VPC two to peer those EC2 peer those two VPCs itself to access the resources from the to send and get the request from the another VPCs as well. So in that case, you are using the VPC peering connection. So there is a one major limitation inside the VPC peering. So, so the one major disadvantage inside the VPC, you should need to be select the destination and the requester. So the destination VPC and the requester VPC. So there are two VPCs you should only able to set up with the VPC peering connection. Inside the inside the transit gateways itself, if you can see, by using this module, you can centralizedly manage the multiple VPCs inside your organization, and you can like scale the resources in I can say you can scale the resources so easily by using this service. So this is the overall purpose of the VPC transit gateway. It is basically a cloud-based router, and that's it for the VPC gateway. There is a specific resources. Uh, Basically, those use VPCs. So to cleaning purpose, you just need to go on the internet gateway, select those two, and detach internet gateway. Those are connected to my VPC itself. So just go on the VPC and delete the VPC. So you're not able to delete those because the instances are running. Okay, so let's go on the EC2 instances. So we need to select those, and you should need to be terminated. Okay, so those two EC2 instances are terminated, and if you can see, we also should be able to delete the VPCs. So just go on the delete VPC, click on refresh, delete the VPC. It will take a little time to enable. It will still on the install section. Some of the ENIs, elastic network interfaces, are still attached to the EC2 instances, and yeah, it will take a little time to do that. But in the last, you just need to remove all those things, such as the transit gateways and all those things you need to delete. So that's it for today, and yeah.